Speech for Boardwalk. The main theme of the work is stories, and so I had to get to work on some ideas. At the time, someone in my family was celebrating a recent success, and so there was a lot of celebratory items around the house. This gave me the starting point for my work. I decided to create a film based around celebration. These are the props I would use: a balloon, a card, a banner, flowers, and a cake. I wanted to have some things in the film to remain the same. For example, the suit, the background, no emotions, stiff body language, music until the prop is destroyed, person enters and exits in opposite ways, and the transitions between clips are the person walking. When I was deciding on a song, I thought Celebrate Good Times would be a good choice because it is closely related to the subject of the film. I then thought to stop the music once the prop was destroyed to emphasize the meaning of destroying the prop. I had originally planned to include the person's face in the film. However, when I filmed the first scene, the camera position meant the person's head was cut off, but instead of repeating the scene, I decided to carry on with this idea because it doesn't show the person's emotions at all. The idea behind my film is that the person or place doesn't suggest any motives of why they are destroying the congratulation stuff, and so it leaves the viewer to come up with their reason. There are a lot of possible reasons to why the person could be acting this way, which makes the film whatever the viewer wants it to be. It is their interpretation that is important in this film. Artist Research. John Wood and Paul Harrison. I like their work because of the way they explore the shapes and ideas around their films. They are very unique because they go into situations that we don't normally think about. What I will take away from their work is the plain background and the expressionless face. However, their work doesn't have a story behind it, only the story that is going on in the film, and mine will be based on a story because that is the theme. My film relates to the films of John Wood and Paul Harrison because they both have some themes which are the same in each of their clips, such as the plain backgrounds and the actions of a person. The difference is that my film doesn't use geometrical shapes, etc., but instead has a meaning behind the story. Rachel Whiteread. Whilst I was looking at Rachel Whiteread, it got me thinking of how you can look deeper into a space through the theory of negative space. It is like she is creating something wonderful and creative from something that is ordinary and boring and not even there. I was thinking of how I could relate this idea into the theme of stories, so I decided I would do my final piece on a story which had a deeper meaning to it than originally appeared. The negative space being the person not having a head, so that the viewer cannot see the person's emotions in the story, meaning the viewer has to interpret the story. Tom Phillips. This work is also the creation of something new from something which already existed. In a lot of ways, it is like the work of Rachel Whiteread. The idea I got from this work was that the people viewing my final piece should make their own story from my story, so I had to leave the story very brief and not give any clues away at all why the person is acting the way they are. Tom Hunter. His work is creating something totally different to what the original artist wanted by putting his own interpretation on their work to relate it to now. The idea I have taken from his work is for people to make their own interpretations of what the story behind the film is, so that it can relate to today or the past. I want the work to relate to their lives by not putting in my own interpretation.